tomorrow, everybody. It's your boy Icon back again for another week of superhero and or DC TV. Legends of Tomorrow. So this one is called This Is Gus. And the fact that it's called This Is Gus, I'm going to assume that the entire episode is a spin-off of the show called This Is Us. This Is Us. I've never actually watched This Is Us, so if it was based on that, I definitely did not get the reference. But this episode actually starts with Beirad. So he really hasn't done anything. Like, we're up to episode 9, and then I can't believe it's been 9 episodes, but Beirad hasn't really done much throughout the course of the entire season so far. But this episode was based on him specifically because it's his birthday. And, he's turning 25. Gideon lets him know that it's his birthday. So he's all like happy and everything. He goes and meets up with the team thinking that everybody's going to shower him with all this birthday love and admiration. And then, everybody's at the table and they're talking about the next alien sighting. So the alien sighting that they found, it was actually 2 years from present time because we're in 2021. And the alien pops up in 2023. So they tell Gideon to set a course for 2023, but it's actually in Vancouver, and the alien is actually sighted over a studio that's in Vancouver. So which if I'm not mistaken, I should have looked this up beforehand, but the name of the studio, I wonder if it's also the same studio where they shoot all the DC TV shows. I know they shoot all that stuff in Vancouver. So anyway, so they end up going to the studio. When they get to the studio, Beirad finds out that the studio that they're at is host of one of his favorite TV shows of all time. It was a show called Bud-Stuy, which is about like these two Muslim guys that live in Brooklyn, I'm assuming. And instead of doing the traditional stuff that Muslims do, like one of the main characters, he was, striving to be like his own person and do his own thing and break the stereotypical traditions of how people view Muslim people. Beirad was very into the show because it spoke to him as a child and turned him into the person that he is today, because his parents wanted him to go into business school, but that's not who he is. He's not a business person. So when the gang all shows up and they're at the Bud-Stuy for one of the episodes, Beirad thinks that they did that for him as a birthday present, and Zari told everybody to lie and just say yes. And at that point I was just like, okay, so we're gonna do the whole thing where they lie. We're gonna spend the whole episode lying about his birthday, and then later on he's gonna find out it's a lie, and then he's gonna get mad. Thankfully that didn't happen. But while we're trying to keep the lie alive, the whole gang goes into the studio to watch the episode because these things are taped in front of a live studio audience. Sarah and Spooner, they go looking for the alien. And when they see the alien, because they said that the alien was in a spacecraft and it's about to fly overhead, and they just wanted to get a hold of it at the point of impact, so this way it doesn't even disturb anything. They can just grab it and go. But then Spooner, this is why I love Spooner. Spooner pulls out the burner, and then she points at the sky. She's like her big old gun can, and she points it at the sky. And then Sarah's like, what, because Sarah told everybody, she said this whole mission is about preventing the alien from being seen by human beings. So then when Spooner pulls out her gun, Sarah's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm preventing. And then she blasts the ship. The ship catches fire, then ends up going crashing. It goes crashing into the studio. So meanwhile, Beirad, Zari, Nate, and Astra, they're all watching the studio show. And then while they're watching the show in progress, the alien goes crashing through the studio, and then it pops out. It's like this little cute pink alien looking thing. It kind of reminded me of a gremlin. It reminded me of one of the gremlin dolls. And then now, like, and then as soon as Beirad sees it, he's like, wait a minute. He's like, so this whole thing just wasn't a ploy. He said, you guys didn't lie about having an alien mission to disguise a birthday, to disguise this whole thing as a birthday present. He's like, there actually is an alien mission. You guys basically tried to lie, and now the lie is exposed. And he was just like, all right, it's not a problem. He's like, because we're still in the TV studio business. And I'm glad that they ended that the way it did, because I didn't want a whole episode of him just complaining about how they lied about his birthday. Early in the show, they got Nate out of the totem because Nate went into the totem in the last episode, and he was talking to like Zari 1.0. So they get him out of the totem. So now he's like walking around, and then he tells Zari 2.0, he's just like, oh, her and I had a nice time on the totem. She wanted, she was talking about Beirad's birthday. He's like, nah, I feel bad that I forgot. And meanwhile, Zari 2.0, she's still feeling some kind of way because she's just like, oh, I forgot my own brother's birthday, and the original version of me remembered. I must be the bad sister. So now they're trying to infiltrate the TV show. They're trying to go backstage. They're trying to talk to the actors, because they're trying to get a hold of the alien. The main actor, his brother, I guess, was a producer or a director on the show. And when his brother got a hold of the alien, he felt like he could make money off the alien, and he wanted to use the alien in the show. The main character, younger brother, he really wasn't feeling the idea, but then the two of them went back and forth and they got into some stuff, and then the younger brother decided to do what his older brother said. Bayrod went and talked to the dude, and he was just like, listen, you can't change the show, because he's like, the show, it changed me into the person who I am today. He was just like, he said, I loved your character. I love what you guys are doing. He was just like, don't sell out. You got to keep the show exactly the way it is. So the younger brother goes and talks to the older brother, and he's just like, bro, like, I don't want to change the show. I want to keep the show the way it is. And then the older brother was like, well, you got to do what I say or else. And then the younger brother was like, fine, I quit, and then he gets mad and he walks off set. Now here's where it gets interesting, because young Bayrod, that was his show as a child. That was the TV show that molded him into the person who he is today. Now that the main actor quit the show, Bayrod is starting to change as a result of the timeline. Because again, like, his parents wanted him to be a business person. And, thanks to that show, he chose against it. He chose to be his own person. But now that the main actor quit the show, Bayrod started transforming into the person he never wanted to be. He started turning into a business person. He got his hair slicked back. He had on like expensive watches. He was driving fancy cars, and everybody's looking at him like, what the hell's going on? Like, Astra was actually digging him for a little bit until she found out he was an a-hole. Because what's happened is, if you remove that show from his life, he ends up becoming the person his parents wanted him to be. So now they're just like, we really got to save the show and get this alien out of here, because it's actually is turning Bayrod into somebody that he's not, and we don't want to lose the real Bayrod, because like Nate said, once the timeline solidifies, this is going to be who he is, so we need to change this thing like ASAP. So Astra goes and she talks to the brother, she tries to convince the younger brother to go back to the show. The rest of the gang, like, they try to talk to the older brother to try to get him to reconsider. He doesn't want to reconsider, and now we're shooting an episode of the show. And then Nate ended up getting a part on the show so he can try to like work undercover, and so he can maybe like snatch the alien and run. So now we're filming an episode of the show. Nate comes on the show as like the crazy, annoying, the nosy landlord. The original actor, like the main actor, he's in the parking lot, he's arguing with Astra, and then he tries to run from Astra, and then he jumps in a car and like runs, and then Astra starts chasing him. So while they're filming the TV show, Nate ends up changing the dialogue. He's just like, oh, I'm not the nosy landlord. He said, I'm secretly, the alien task force police or whatever, and I've come to get Gus, because they named the alien Gus. He's like, I've come to get this alien, like out of here as soon as possible. So then like Nate snatches up the alien ends up like, throwing a fit, and then while the alien's throwing a fit, like it's screaming and everything, the original main actor guy, he goes crashing into the studio because he was running. Well, Astra bumped him. He was running from Astra. Astra basically played bumper cars. She bumped his car. He flew onto the set. And then when the guy crashed onto the set, he basically, like, in the moment, he kept the show going, because when he realized he was being filmed in front of a live studio audience, he basically improv'd and he just kept the show going, and then everybody got a laugh out of it. Nate ended up getting his hands on the alien, fed the alien some gummy bears, and then the alien ended up liking Nate. And then after that, like the two brothers talked and they agreed, to keep the show the way it was, and then everybody hugged and everything. The Legends got the alien and everybody's out of there. The pink alien Gus is now on the Legend ship, and Spooner didn't get to shoot him, which was kind of sad because I really wanted to see that. And that's really how it ended. Then they threw Bayrod a birthday party, and then he was all like excited about the birthday party. And then this was cool because Zari 2.0, she went into the totem and had a conversation with the original Zari. And then she said, as far as like loopholes to the timeline are concerned, because remember they said last season both Zaris can't exist on Earth, because if both of them exist, it'll affect Bayrod's like timeline. But what Zari 2.0 said, she said, as far as a loophole is concerned, if we tag in and out, the universe will always think one of us is here, and then Bayrod won't be in danger of of fading out of existence. So then Zari 2.0 ends up tagging out. She lets 1.0 tag back in. She gets to see Bayrod for his birthday. She gets to embrace Nate again. She gets caught up on all the Legends drama, and then that's when we find out that Mick Rory is pregnant. Because earlier in the show, when they time jumped from 2021 to 2023, Mick ended up calling his daughter, and then his daughter was just like, oh my God, Dad, I haven't heard from you in over a year, like a year and a half or whatever. She's like, I need to speak to you ASAP. And then when Mick brought her onto the show, we found out that his daughter was pregnant. Because, see, and that's the thing, like from a time standpoint, because she was just like, oh, she's like, I haven't heard from you. I haven't seen you for 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Because the thing is, from her perspective, because the Legends time jumped from 2021 to 2023, for the Legends, going from 2021 to 2023 was basically in the blink of an eye. But from his daughter's perspective, she didn't see her dad for damn near 2 years. And within that time, she got pregnant, so she was telling her dad about, Mick got upset. He was like, I can't believe you got knocked up. And then the two of them ended up talking about it. He was like, tell me about your boyfriend, like the father. And then she told him everything. And then after she told him everything he needed to know about the boy, Sarah was like, he gonna kill his ass, right? And then they go down to try to stop Mick from killing the boyfriend. And then, he was actually talking to him because he said that, he was like, I want my grandchild to grow up with two loving parents, because that's not what I had when I grew up. And that was nice. It's nice that, that he embraced the kid, and they didn't drag the whole thing out with Mick trying to kill him. But then he was confiding into the guy, talking to him about, when he loved somebody and lost somebody. But he was talking about, I believe, was it Michaela, the alien Gary's ex-fiance? He was talking about her because Mick actually did like her and had a thing for her, and now she's dead. During that conversation, Mick revealed that the two of them actually did the nasty, and Gary was like, well, when you guys did it, were there tentacles involved? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, did one of those tentacles go in your ear? And then he was like, yeah. And then he was just like, oh boy. He said that's what that's what my species of alien does to basically like reproduce. He said that she left eggs behind in your brain, and now you're going to give birth to like alien children. And that was completely gross. And then everybody was shocked. And that's how the episode ended. So we're doing a Mick Rory's gonna have an alien baby storyline. And most likely once Mick gives birth to this alien child, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna get off the ship for a while to go raise, my kid or whatever. And it's gonna be like this whole weird thing. That's how we're gonna get Mick off the show, because he's gonna leave the ship to go raise his alien baby or babies. So we'll see what happens. That's even if he keeps the kids, because Spooner might kill them all before they even get a chance to, to resurface. Bayrod's back to normal. Everything's fine. And we still don't know the end game or have a clue as to the end game of where they're going with Legends, because we're still hunting these aliens that are being transferred through time. But there's no big bad, there's no one person that we got to take down. And then Constantine's still out there, because Constantine, he's still trying to get his magic back. So there's a lot of things that's going to happen. But again, we're only up to episode 9, so they do have a chance. There's still time to introduce a big bad, to, to put a bow on the Constantine storyline and to see where Mick goes with the baby. So that was it. And thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment down below. Very weird episode, but funny episode of Legends of Tomorrow. Let me know what you think now that Bayrod actually has something to do. Can we actually get an episode where they tell us how Bayrod actually met the Legends and joined the Legends? Because I still don't know how he joined the team, because we all know that he joined the team. We know that he left home and everything, but I personally still don't know how he joined the team. And that's something I actually want to know. I just want to know how the boy joined the team. That's all. Just give me one episode. So that was it. Like I said, leave your comments below. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter. And we will continue to talk about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So for Legends of Tomorrow, till we get to learn about more alien craziness, take care. See you next week. And I'm out this bitch.